guys, welcome back. Today, I'm going to put on my hat real quick, and we're going to get into this. I need to get some sound barriers and shit in here for my room. Let me move this over. I have my Oculus set up in here. So, we had three big developments as it comes down to quarterbacks. That inevitably spells a 6-week injury for Drew Brees, the end of the season for one Ben Roethlisberger, and the end of a career for Andrew Luck. We're going to weigh in on that and much, much more as it comes down to teams in this live stream. Now, you saw about a month ago, before the season started, I did my predictions, and I'm already wrong because the Saints already lost the game. Well, I updated the stat book here, and we're going to go and we're going to redo it as if we knew before what we know now. Okay. So, let's see. Oh, hold on. My mouse is getting stuck on that. Come here, mouse. Come here, mouse. Come here, mouse. What are you doing, mouse? There you go. There's my mouse. Okay. So, we're going to first assess. Obviously, this is on Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. I don't know why I didn't know it was Friday. Anyway, this is on a Friday. We're going to get into this. We're going to start with Bills and Bengals. I think the Bills pick up that victory. I still think the Bills pick up that victory because the Bills haven't been playing bad football by any means. Then we have the Ravens and the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will win that. Jets and Patriots, I don't see the Jets winning that. Patriots will easily win that. And the Texans and Chargers. Now this could be a really good game. And by the way, if you didn't watch that game in week 1, I would suggest going back and watching it, or at least watching the highlights of it, because Drew Brees was in that. This is his last game for a little while, and it's ridiculous. He was absolutely on point in the second half. And Will Lutz barely won the game for us. It was ridiculous, but go check that out. This one I would consider a toss-up. Realistically, but I would probably give it to the Chargers, which would get them into the Week 3 playoff picture, but the Week 3 playoff picture doesn't mean anything. Colts and Falcons. Falcons are a much better team overall, but I think the Colts will probably pick up this victory just because it's at home, and, a lot of home victories because there's no way the Dolphins are beating the Cowboys. I'm sorry, but if there is any team in the NFL that's going to go 0-16, this year's Dolphin team has it. Like, this year's Dolphin team, they're just so awful. I mean, awful. My predictions were even worse because I thought the Dolphins team may be able to pick up a win in the second week of this season. They get blown out 42-0. Just so bad. So trash. Alright, let's get back into this. We got the Packers and the Broncos. Now the Packers, as you can see over there, right on the right there, they're number 1 right now. Of course, this changes really quickly, but I still have them beating the Broncos. The Broncos aren't that great, and Honestly, before this season, I didn't think the Packers were all that great, but they've been producing good football games. Browns and Rams. We're just going to skip over these. I do think with Ben Roethlisberger out, the 49ers will probably win this, and the Vikings will beat the Raiders handily. Browns. I'll give this one to the Browns. And there's a lot of home teams that I'm giving wins in week 3. I don't know if there was this many home teams that I gave wins in week 3 before. Maybe it was... I know, I remember, if I'm remembering correctly, I thought the toss-up games would be like the Packers and the Broncos, and maybe the Colts and the Falcons, which is still a toss-up game, really, but because it's at Lucas Oil Stadium, I got to go for it. Eagles, I still have them beating the Lions, Buccaneers, and Giants. The Buccaneers aren't looking bad this season, but they played a lackluster team, so I got to give that one to the Giants. If the Panthers lose to the Cardinals, I'm sorry. You just suck. Saints at Seahawks. It hurts to do this, but we're gonna start off 1-2. I'm very hesitant of Teddy Bridgewater, and that's the reason why I'm giving this rating. Mostly because I'm really hesitant of Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill as starting QBs. As leading QBs of this offense, I'm a little less scared of Taysom Hill just because if he gets in a pinch, I know he's going to run. Like, if Teddy Bridgewater gets in a pinch, he's not going to run. We saw it last week. He just threw it away half the time because he had no clue what he was doing on the field. And don't get me wrong, whenever he played with the Vikings, he didn't play bad. No, he didn't play bad. But that was a long time ago. I still have the Bears beating the Redskins. They are a well-rounded team, just not great. And the NFC starts off terrible. Or the NFC South, anyway. With the Panthers, Saints, and Falcons all being 1-2, along with the Buccaneers. So if it actually ended right there in week 3, the Buccaneers would be in with a 1-2 record. That just goes to show you how terrible our division is going to be this year. Okay, week 4. Patriots beat Bills easily. Colts beat Raiders because the Raiders are trash. Chargers beat Dolphins, although the Chargers will probably drop a game or two. It's a toss-up between the Browns and the Ravens. I'll give this one to the Ravens because it's at home. Jags and Broncos. I'll give this one to the Jags. And Bengals, Steelers. The Bengals are still one of the worst teams in the NFL statistically. Like, no joke, they suck. Sorry, Bengals fans, you just suck so much ass. Panthers, Texans. I think the Texans picked that one up. The Panthers aren't great. Chiefs will probably beat the Lions. And it's a pretty good toss-up game between the Titans and Falcons. I'll give it to the Titans because the Titans generally do good against NFC South teams. I know the Saints traditionally struggled in the past with the Titans. So, yeah. Eagles, Packers. This one's a toss-up game, but I'll give it to the Eagles. I think the Packers will fall here, and the Eagles will do well. Redskins, Giants. That's a toss-up because both of these teams aren't great. But the Redskins played a closer game. I'll give it to them. Even though it's in New York, it's still not that great. The Seahawks will beat the Cardinals. Again, another team that if it's going to go 0-16, it's going to be the Cardinals. It's either the Cardinals in the NFC or the Dolphins in the AFC. They're both awful. And they both have pretty hard schedules. Buccaneers will probably lose to the Rams. Probably get blown out worse than the Saints did, really. Vikings, Bears. Because it's at Soldier Field, I got to give that one to the Bears. Now, as it stands right now, I got to give this game to the Cowboys. And it pains me to do that. As a Saints fan, you have no clue how hard that hurts to have to do that right now. But as it stands, before week 3, before we actually know how Teddy Bridgewater and how Taysom Hill will play in a first-string setting all game, I saw shades of it before, and it sickened me. The way that Teddy Bridgewater just threw it out of bounds half the time. It annoyed me. And I really don't want this to happen, but I do think the Saints will go 3-3 under Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill. And I really hope Drew Brees comes back. I hope he doesn't retire off of this. I don't think he will, but I hope he doesn't. Because when he comes back, he's going to play 2 or 3 times as hard to make up for lost time. Drew always did that. He only was injured once, and then he came back and beat the shit out of everybody. Of course, that was the same year. That was one of those years we went 9-7. So, all right. Let's go ahead and let's go to week 5 now. Steelers, Ravens. Ravens defense is pretty damn good. And the Steelers, without Ben Roethlisberger, are going to struggle on offense. I got to give this one to the Ravens. Titans will beat the Bills. Again, I'm not buying into the Bills. I'm just not doing it. Broncos, Chargers. Chargers will win that. Colts, Chiefs. Chiefs will win that. There is no debating that. So, yeah. Cardinals, Bengals. Now, this is a game that could keep the Cardinals from going 0-16. Cardinals played pretty close against a pretty damn good team a couple weeks ago. I got to give this one to the Cardinals. Jets, Eagles. Jets coming off a bye. It doesn't matter. They're going to Philadelphia. They're going to get their ass kicked. Panthers, Jags. This is a good game. I'm going to give it to the Jags. And let me tell you why. Cam Newton and McCaffrey, they've struggled. This season, they've been terrible. Offensively, they need to move on from Cam Newton. I'm a Saints fan, so I don't want them to do good anyway. I want them to keep Cam Newton, really. I don't really like Cam Newton anyway. But the thing here is the Jaguars also lost Blake Bortles. Motherfucker. 4 teams have lost massive quarterbacks this season. Not Blake Bortles, it's Nick Foles. Motherfucker, why did I say Blake Bortles? I guess that was their quarterback last year. Bears easily beat Raiders, obviously. Patriots beat the Redskins because the Patriots are kicking ass right now. They're kicking ass and taking names. And I think that continues on throughout a lot of this season. Browns at 49ers. This is a good game. It's going to be a toss-up. I thought the Browns are going to be better, but honestly, in their first game, they didn't do that well. They struggled in their first game. I got to give this one to the 49ers because they're coming off a bye week. They're at home, and they're a pretty damn good team. So, yeah. Let's go ahead. Still 1-3, the Buccaneers. Still 1-3 in the playoffs. But that won't be that way soon. Because I do see a string of wins coming up for the Saints. Including against the Buccaneers, actually. So, Texans, Falcons. This one, That's another toss-up. I'm going to give it to the Texans just because they're at home. But that is another toss-up. That is a very good game. Packers and Cowboys. This one's a good one. That one is going to be another good one. This is a week filled with good games. And depending on how they do, the Saints might be a good game. Also, it could be an absolute fucking blowout, or it could be an absolute dog shit defensive battle, like it was for 2.5 quarters in LA last week. So I think Cowboys will probably pick up that victory. Seahawks and Rams. That one's hard. That one is really, 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 really hard. I got to go with, at home, I got to go with the Seahawks. And that's just because the Seahawks are a fucking amazing team. Like, the Seahawks are pretty good. Who else did I say beat the Rams? Oh, that's right. I said the Browns beat the Rams. And Vikings beat the Giants. Because, again, Giants suck. Alright, let's go week 6. Alrighty, we got Texans and Chiefs. I gotta go Chiefs here. Again, Texans, you're not gonna beat the Chiefs. I'm sorry. You are a good team. You're a pretty damn good team. But you're not going to beat the Chiefs. Bengals, Ravens. Ravens easily win that. Titans, Broncos. Titans will win that because they are looking pretty damn good. Steelers, Chargers. I'm going to give the Chargers that one. The Chargers are overall a better team. Let's see. Patriots beat Giants. Seahawks and Browns. Browns are going to struggle in this game. I think they will beat the Seahawks inevitably, but that's going to be a good game. Dolphins. Redskins are going to beat the Dolphins. Even coming off of a bye week at home, the Dolphins will probably still lose this game. But if they are, the Redskins have struggled. I'm going to give this one to the Dolphins. That's not something you hear every day. Dolphins fans, you better be happy. And Steeler fans, well, shit. Your season is down the tubes, and we're not even at the midway point yet. Saints and Cowboys will win in Jacksonville and in New York. Now, the reason I'm picking like this is because the Saints here are just overall better. And at this point, we could be 1-5. If we don't gel correctly, and Taysom Hill and Bridgewater aren't able to quite gel correctly, we could go 0-6 under them. Because we play some good teams. I don't see us going 0-6. We could be 2-6. Yeah, 2-6 whenever Drew Brees comes back. If we don't mold correctly, because I still think we're going to beat the shit out of the Cardinals, no matter who we are. Okay. Panthers, Bucks. Buccaneers will probably win that. I don't think they're going to split that series. The Buccaneers will probably win that. Eagles, Vikings. The Vikings are a formidable team, but I don't think... I'll give it to them. Falcons beat Cardinals. Because, again, if any team is going to go 0-16, It's the Cardinals. Sorry, just being honest. Rams beat 49ers in LA. They're still a pretty damn good team. And with that win, they go ahead and they knock out the Vikings from the playoff picture. Lions going on the road to face the Packers. Packers beat them. There is no debating that to me. However, the Saints at 3-3 are in the playoffs. The Eagles, Packers, and Vikings are all out of the playoffs at 4-2. That's ridiculous, and it just shows how awful our division actually is. And this is actually where the 49ers dropped their first game. Kind of ridiculous. I would have thought that the 49ers would have dropped the game. Before the season, I didn't believe in the 49ers. Chiefs beat the Broncos. Again, Broncos not doing too hot at 0-7. Jets at 0-5. And Bengals at 0-6. They're all trying to break that O streak. On the other side, I think every team thus far has at least won one game in the NFC. So there will be no 0-16 teams in the NFC is essentially what I'm getting at. However, there are still 3 teams without a win in the AFC. And the Steelers, well, like I said, your season is pretty much down the tubes already. Jaguars beat Bengals because, again, Bengals are the fucking laughing stock of everybody. Bills beat Dolphins. Colts will beat Texans here because they're coming off a bye week and they're at home. And they're still a pretty damn good team overall. Chargers and Titans. I gotta give that one to the Titans. That's gonna be a good game. I'm gonna watch that game. Mostly because the Bears at home coming off a bye week are just going to fucking raffle stomp the Saints. I don't see the Saints beating the Bears at home. I just don't. Not without Breeze, and Breeze has not come back yet. I just do not see. Luckily, it's going to be a hard day for everybody in the NFC South. This is going to be a toss-up. I'll give it to the Eagles because generally they split. I'll give that one to Rams. This one to the Giants. Let's see. Vikings, I'll probably give them that. And the 49ers will also get that. So, again, Patriots obviously beat Jets. They're going to sweep the Jets in that series. Seahawks will beat Ravens. And Packers will beat Raiders. So, given that, we have the Seahawks, surprisingly, leading the NFL at 6-1, or leading the NFC at this point at 6-1. Cowboys also at 6-1. Bears at 5-1. Saints at 3-4, and then 5-1 and 5-2 for the Rams and the 49ers, coming in at the 5th and 6th seed. Week 8. Cowboys and Ravens have bye weeks. Saints have an easy game this week against the Cardinals in the Dome. That's going to be a victory. Panthers coming off a bye week, playing one of the league's best teams. 49ers will win that one. There's no question in my mind. Chiefs beat Packers. Buccaneers and Titans. Titans will win that one. Bengals and Rams will win that one. Eagles and Bills. Eagles will probably top that one. And the Chargers and the Bears. That's going to be a good-ass game. I think the Chargers will knock off the Bears there, giving them a pretty decent record of 5-2. Then we have Giants-Lions. I think this is one that the Lions can win. Because the Giants aren't that great. They're just not that great. And the Panthers, they're gonna end up being 1-6 here, and it's mostly because again, he's not an old quarterback, but he's lost his touch. And on top of that, they have an old running back. All of their receivers are pretty old. Seahawks coming to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. I have the Seahawks beating the Falcons there. Although that one will be a good game, I could be wrong there. Vikings will beat Redskins. Steeler fans, you're going to be at home playing by far the worst team in the league. You can rejoice because you have a win. Still 3 teams having 0 wins here. Bengals 0-8, Broncos 0-7, and Jets 0-6. Browns coming off a bye week against the Patriots. This is one of those games that if anybody was going to tie, it would be now. The Browns coming off the bye week, just because they're coming off the bye week, I think this team is going to meld Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham on the same team. Actually melding together will be fucking unstoppable. By the end of this season, it's going to be destructive. Colts and Broncos. Colts will win that one. Texans, Raiders. Texans will win that one. And Jaguars, Jets. Jags. Again, not bad. Not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. And surprisingly, the Titans are still in the playoff picture here. In Week 8. Now, Week 9. I rejoice for Week 9 because in Week 10, Big Daddy Drew is back. Or supposed to be back. I don't... Could be a little longer, but I hope anyway. Texans at Jaguars. Do see Jaguars dropping this game. Dolphins and Jets. Jets will probably win this game. Finally getting themselves off of the list of those teams that are in blankety blankety. So, Colts and Steelers. Again, Steeler Nation, you can erupt and cheer because I think you're going to win this. You're at home. You're playing, at this point, a very tired Colts team. I think you're going to win. Browns will beat Broncos because the Broncos, they're just not good. Ravens coming off a bye at home. I think this is one of those games that the Ravens can win. They have a defense that can stop Tom Brady. That just comes down to it. That's what it comes down to. They have a defense that can stop Tom Brady. So they're going to win that game. I think the Patriots will drop that game. Okay, Redskins, Bills. Let's talk about this game. That's one of those games that could be a damn tie for all we know. But based on early season, I got to give it to the Bills. Vikings, Chiefs. Chiefs will win that. Titans, Panthers. Realistically, I'm going to give it to the Panthers only because it's in Carolina. If it wasn't in Carolina, I would not give that to the Panthers. The Panthers would lose. But again, the Panthers don't have the same problem that the Falcons and the Saints do historically with the Titans. Historically, the Titans have beat the shit out of the Falcons and the Saints. In 2013, 14, and 15, the Saints and the Falcons absolutely were abysmal. And even before then, they were absolutely abysmal against the Titans. Lions, Raiders, I think that gets the Raiders their second win on the season. Chargers, Packers, I gotta go Chargers because it's in LA and it's a pretty good Chargers team. Eagles will probably beat the Bears. Seahawks will probably smash the Buccaneers, which again, still leading the NFC. Absolutely ridiculous. Cowboys coming off a bye. They're going to go in and stomp the Giants, and 49ers will beat the Cardinals. So Cardinals fans, you started off strong. You're not going to end strong. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Now, this is my week of rejoice. Saints coming off a bye week with Drew Brees, supposed to return this week. We're beating the shit out of the Falcons. There's no contest we're beating the shit out of the Falcons. And at this point, this is that time whenever I throw my hands up and I'm cheering and I'm happy and I'm just living in the moment. Because I don't know if Drew Brees will come back next season. But we, at this point, are going to be 5-4. The Saints, at this point, are going to be 5-4. 49ers are really fucking good this year. Really fucking good. Either that or they have an absolutely abysmal schedule. Cowboys and Vikings. That's a good game. Seahawks and 49ers, that's a good game. I think the Seahawks will beat the 49ers, inevitably dropping the 49ers to 7-2. Again, the Saints still make the playoffs, but that's because our division is weak as shit this year. I mean, weak. Cowboys will probably... And again, Cowboys are a good team. No joke. Saints would beat them if Drew Brees was here. I'm sorry. Alex Anzalone is also out. That's going to be a big issue. Because Alex Anzalone is a good player on defense. Panthers and Packers. I think the Packers will beat the Panthers. Panthers, again, still contending with the Falcons and the Buccaneers for the worst records in the NFL. Oh, and the Cardinals and the Redskins. They're going to struggle a lot. Buccaneers will beat the Cardinals, however. And the Bears will beat the Lions. This gives the Bears a record of 6-3. The Saints a record of 5-4. The Eagles a record of 7-2. 49ers a record of 7-2. And the Rams, coming off a bye week, will beat the Steelers and will find themselves in the playoffs. Edging out the 49ers, by the way. That is absolutely ridiculous. How competitive the wild card race is whenever the Saints are in the playoffs at 5-4. Mind you, it's not going to stay that way very long. The Saints with Drew Brees is a whole different beast than the Saints without Drew Brees. The Saints are going to beat the shit out of a lot of the teams that they face whenever Drew comes back. Like, Chargers beat Raiders, with the Broncos and the Bengals still looking for that first win. And sorry to say, but for Broncos fans, it's not going to come this week because you have a bye week. So, Bengals, however, coming off the bye week at home, going against the Ravens. The Ravens generally drop a game to a team that they don't really need to drop a game to. Bengals will probably win this game. Bills and Browns, because of where it's at, Browns will probably win. Chiefs will beat the Titans, edging out the Titans out of the playoff picture again, and now the Browns are back in the playoff picture. Let's go to the Colts and Dolphins, where the Dolphins will beat the shit out of the Colts. Wait, no. I said that backwards. The Colts will beat the shit out of the Dolphins. The Dolphins suck. They're just not good. Saints, Buccaneers, again, on the road, but we just got Drew Brees back a week ago. That's going to be a hella good game. And even if we don't get Drew Brees back, I still think we're going to beat the Falcons, and I still think we're going to beat the Buccaneers because this is going on 8 weeks, so there's almost no chance that Drew's not back for this game. And like I said, Saints with Drew Brees, Saints without Drew Brees. It's like a cookie with chocolate coating versus a cookie without it. There is So much difference. Cowboys, Lions. Cowboys will win that. Falcons, Panthers. This is a toss-up, but I got to give it to the Falcons. The Panthers will probably lose this game, as the Falcons continue to struggle. 49ers will beat the Cardinals, and Rams will beat the Bears, giving the Rams an 8-2 record, which is a freaking good record, realistically. Only topped by the Cowboys and the Seahawks in the NFC, with the Chiefs still at a solid 10-0. Both of these teams coming off bye weeks. This is going to be one of those games for the Patriots to lose. Now I'm going to give it to the Eagles. I will give it to the Eagles, who if I don't give it to the Eagles, the 49ers are in the playoffs. But because I give it to the Eagles, they're 8-2. They're still in playoff contention. Broncos, Vikings. Broncos, you're still not going to get your first win. I'm sorry. Redskins coming off a bye week at home are going to beat the shit out of the Jets. That's not going to be surprising. Chiefs will beat. This one actually will be a good game. I think the Chargers will probably beat the Chiefs here. The Chiefs will drop that game and feel sad going into their locker room. The Bengals will probably finally beat somebody. They're going to beat the Raiders. The Texans will drop this game to the Ravens. Again, Ravens with that freaking amazing defense. And don't get me wrong, still love Ingram. Even though you're gone now, bro, I still love you. Bills at Dolphins. Bills will probably win that game. Bills honestly aren't doing bad. They're not. They're not doing awful. They're really not. Jaguars and Colts. Jaguars coming off a bye week. I can very much see the Jags winning this. And the Browns at home facing the Steelers. Browns, I think, will win this. Steelers without Ben Roethlisberger. It's like chicken without waffle. Or it's like waffles without chicken. It's just dough. So, Texans, Colts. Texans will win this. Moving if the Texans beat the Colts, that moves the Jaguars into the playoffs. Let's just go ahead and think about that for a second. Here we go. The Cardinals, the Chargers, and the Chiefs, along with the Vikings, all have bye weeks this week. Steelers will beat the Bengals. Bills will beat the Broncos, who again 0-11. You know what? I don't know. This is one of those games where it could go either way. I'll give it to the Broncos just to sate their fans for a little bit, because I just feel bad. And trust me, as a Saints fan, I understand feeling bad. Brown bag days, anyone? No, but the Browns are going to win. Against the Dolphins, there's no denying that. They go 8-3. Patriots are 7-3. Jags 6-4. Chargers 9-2, and Ravens 7-3. Along with the Chiefs, who are 10-1. We got the Raiders and the Jets. I think the Raiders will probably win this one. The Jets still being 1-9. The Jaguars and the Titans. Titans coming off a bye week at home will win and find themselves at 7-4 and still in playoff contention. For those of you who are Titans fans, you have a chance this year. You have a hell of a chance this year to be in the playoffs. Patriots probably will beat the Cowboys, although that's a hard game to say. I think the Ravens will be able to lock down the Rams' offense. However, and the Rams' defense will not be able to stop Mark Ingram. Last year, they struggled in stopping Mark Ingram with the Saints. And now he's with the Saints. Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram, they're not going to be able to stop him. I think the Rams are going to lose that game. Rams 8-3, still a good record, but not a good enough record to get them into the playoffs. Thus far. Bears beat Giants because Giants suck. Falcons at home will probably beat the Bucs. Saints again. This is the third week. Drew Brees is back. I got to give that one to the Saints. And as we see, and as we will see, the Saints with Drew Brees and the Saints without Drew Brees, it's like night and day. Lions might win against the Redskins. That's going to be a pretty toss-up game. 49ers probably will beat the Packers. Which again, actually the Packers are pretty good. I think the Packers will probably win there. Keeping the Rams' playoff hopes alive. Seahawks coming off the bye week, but they're in Philly. I think Philly will win that game, putting them at number 1. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about Week 13, where there are no bye weeks. The Chiefs will beat the Raiders easily. Bengals and Jets. Oh, and by the way, with that win in week in week 12, there is officially no more teams that are going to be 0-16. No one. Bengals. I'll give that one to the Bengals. They have a 3-win season thus far. That's good for the Bengals. I feel bad for saying that. Titans, Colts, this one's a game to watch because it has massive playoff implications. If the Titans drop this game, the Colts will take their spot. If the Titans win this, they go 8-4, widen their lead over their division, and almost guarantee themselves a shot at the playoffs. However, the Colts will win this game. They just will. Chargers will beat the Broncos. No matter where it is, the Broncos just suck. And again, love Joe Flacco. Great quarterback, decent quarterback, old-ass quarterback, though. Dump his ass because he's not providing a good enough structure for your team. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. Steelers and Browns. I think the Browns will split this series with the Steelers. The Browns will be 8-4 after this, still narrowly in the playoffs. Patriots will beat the Texans, however. Bucks and Jags. Jags may win this, although they probably won't. Yeah, I'll give it to the Jags. Then we have the 49ers and the Ravens. Again, Ravens play that lockdown defense. Jimmy Garoppolo will not be able to throw the ball. Ravens beat 49ers. Eagles will beat Dolphins, and Cowboys will beat Bills, because we all know the Cowboys will beat the Bills. We all know the Eagles will beat the Dolphins. So again, Eagles and Seahawks vying for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Bears beat the Lions. Saints beat the Falcons. Let's see here. Packers and Giants. Packers. Panthers and Redskins. I gotta go with the Panthers on this one. Cardinals coming off a bye week. Oh, that sucks for the Cardinals. They're not gonna win that one. I feel bad. Seahawks will probably beat the Vikings fair. Or the Vikings are coming off a bye week. They might beat the Seahawks fair. Colts will beat the Buccaneers. Steelers will beat the Cardinals. So again, Steelers, you're feeling nice here at 6-7. You're still nowhere near the playoffs, but you're feeling nice here at 6-7. Your year started off slow, but it's actually progressing quite well. Browns beat the Bengals, so the Steelers are still feeling sad. Bills will beat the Ravens at home. I like the Bills. Jets will beat the Dolphins. Jets getting only their second win on the season. I feel bad for Jets, Broncos, and Dolphins fans. Texans will beat the Broncos. Chargers will beat the Jaguars. Chiefs will beat the Patriots, I feel. And the Titans will beat the Raiders. So again, Titans still vying for a shot at the playoffs. If they didn't drop that game to the Colts, they would be in a massively good playoff position. Bears and Cowboys. This one is a game that I thought would be close early in the season. And I still think it'll be close. I think the Bears are going to win here. That gives the Bears 9-4 record. Cowboys a 10-3 record. And they're going to be in there. Now the 49ers, they're currently 8-4. I think they're going to be 8-5 because Drew in the dome, it's hard to go against them. And let's go ahead and think about this. Without Drew Brees, again, I predict we go 3-3. With Drew Brees, since he's been back, 5-0. Okay, the Saints are a completely different animal with Drew Brees. Packers will beat Redskins. Panthers will beat Falcons, putting both of them at 4-9. And the Bucs at 3-10, nearing the bottom of the division yet again. Actually, our division is awful this year. Awful. Vikings, Lions. That's a good game. I'll give it to the Vikings. Seahawks, Rams. I do think the Rams will beat the Seahawks. Narrowly now edging out the Seahawks, who have dropped 2 games in a row, mind you. And Eagles will beat the Giants, giving them 11-2 over the Rams, who have a 10-3 record. Okay, week 15. Ravens beat Jets. Patriots beat Bengals. Actually, yeah. Patriots will beat Bengals. Chiefs will beat Broncos. Steelers will beat Bills. Which again gives the Steelers out there in Steel Country 7-7. Not bad. But you are now out of the playoff picture. You're just out. You're gone. The only people still left in the playoff picture are the Titans, and maybe if they don't drop another game, the Texans. And I don't think they're going to drop a game to the Titans. The Titans will lose here. Texans, if they win out, could go 10-6, get back into the playoffs, have a decent run in the playoffs. Jaguars will beat the Raiders, putting the Jaguars at 8-6. So they're not completely out of the playoff picture either. So at this point, the Chiefs are 13-1, and what do you think they're going to do the next 2 weeks? They're going to sit their starters out pretty much all throughout those games because they have officially solidified number 1 spot unless they play the Chargers. So Browns and Cardinals. Browns will win that. Giants and Dolphins. Giants will win that. Saints will beat Colts. And again, you can say it's bias here, but in the dome, it is ridiculous to try and beat Drew Brees. Just doesn't happen. Doesn't happen all that often. When it does, you're ridiculously lucky. Chargers will beat Vikings. Saints 10-4. Started off the season 4-4, but ending at 10-4. Bucks beat Lions again. Trying to scale back up to a decent win record. The Cardinals will almost most certainly, if it not being for the Broncos and the Dolphins, have the number 1 pick. Again. Yeah. Cardinals, you shouldn't have drafted a quarterback whenever you had a young stud for a quarterback. You already had somebody that was pretty good. Bears beat Packers. Oh. Okay. That's a weird one. But yeah, Bears beat Packers. Seahawks and Panthers. I think the Seahawks are going to win that one. Yep. Again, now Seahawks are just like the Bears and the Saints, along with the Rams here. Eagles will beat Redskins. Falcons and 49ers. Let's think about this. Falcons and 49ers. I'm going to give that one to the 49ers. Again, 49ers are really good here. But all of these teams are playing for the number 1 seed right now. If the Eagles win their next game in week 16, they get the number 1 seed. No doubt. But if they lose, they leave the door open for the Saints, Bears, Cowboys, Seahawks, and Rams to get the number 1 seed. And in this game, I think the Rams will beat the Cowboys. The Rams are a freaking good team. So, yeah. Saints will beat Titans. We're just going to identify that one straight off the muscle. Browns will beat the Ravens, I think. Actually, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really feeling the Browns right now. They're just not doing that well. And Chargers will probably beat them. Chargers will have a freaking good record at 13-2 at the moment. They'll probably sit out their starters because there's no way they can face off against the Chiefs. Dolphins and Bengals, they're just playing for keeps at this point. I think the Dolphins will probably sit out a lot of their starters just to lose this game, really. Steelers will probably beat the Jets because, again, the Steelers never play off. Patriots will beat the Bills. 11-4 Patriots. Pretty damn good. Broncos and Lions. Firstly, Texans will beat the Buccaneers, giving them a 9-6 record. Colts will beat the Panthers. Falcons will beat the Jaguars, dropping the Jaguars out of playoff contention at all. And Chiefs will beat the Bears. Chiefs will beat the Bears, solidifying their number 1 seed, and they will probably rest their starters the next game. Packers will probably beat the Vikings, going 10-5 and still not making the playoffs. Seahawks will beat the Cardinals, I would suppose. Because again, they're still battling for that number one spot. Cowboys will probably beat the Eagles. So Cowboys 11-4, Eagles 12-3. This right here, the Eagles losing to the Cowboys opens up the number one seed wide open for anybody who wants it. Giants and Redskins. I gotta go for the Redskins here. Over the Giants. The Giants are 3-11. Redskins 4-11. Lions 2-11-1, and the Cardinals 1-13-1. 49ers and the Rams. 49ers are pretty good, but I do have the Rams winning that one. I'm trying to think. No. Actually, that's in San Francisco. I know it's not a long drive, but yeah, I gotta go for San Francisco here. Even though the Rams are still a good team, San Francisco has a lot to play for. They're playing for an opportunity. If they win this game and the Rams drop their final game, they get into the playoffs. It's not going to happen because the Rams the next week faced off against the Cardinals. But if it did, Eagles will not bench their starters. They will go 13-3. Saints will go 12-4, beating out Mr. Panther there. Bears will go 11-5. Seahawks will end up 12-4. Cowboys will end up also being 12-4. Falcons and Buccaneers. Buccaneers will probably win this one. And they will end it right above the Falcons, both of them being 5-11. The Panthers and Redskins both being 4-12. Packers will probably win that one, by the way. So Packers go 11-5, still missing the playoffs, by the way. Which one did I not do here? Oh. I mean, it's the same stadium. This is a toss-up, but I got to give it to the Jets. So, yeah. Giants will go ahead and end off the season 3-13. The Jets ending off the season 3-13 as well. Browns ending off the season 11-5, which is still a considerable amount. Chiefs will still have their starters in. They will go 15-1. Ridiculous. By the way, this whole thing. Other than this, if I go ahead and take that off, 13-2, 14-1. That would be a ridiculous thing. But yeah. Colts beat Jags. Pats always drop a game to the Dolphins. So I do see them dropping this game to the Dolphins. Steelers will drop that game to the Ravens, thus officially eliminating them from playoff contention. Texans will beat the Titans, getting themselves into the playoffs at 10-6 and pushing the Colts out of the playoffs at 10-6. And then the Broncos, just for kicks, will beat the Raiders. So, now we have our playoff teams. Let's talk about this, shall we? Chiefs at 15-1 take the number 1 seed easily in the AFC and in the NFL. Easily. Then we go to the Ravens, 12-4. Pretty good team. Pretty great defense. Not the best offense, though. They have a dual running attack with Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram. But other than that, they're not that great on offense. Their defense is just top-notch. Patriots at 11-5. Pretty good. Pretty good. Especially for losing Gronk. Texans at 10-6. Great team. Texans are a great team. Saints beat them in the first week. They end up making the playoffs. It's great. It's a good team. It's a really good team. Chargers 13-3. Let's be honest. If the Chargers were in any other division, they would be pretty damn dominant. Browns 11-5. Like if the Chargers were in the Browns division, which is also the Ravens division, or the Patriots division, or the Texans division, they would have won. They would have won. They would have won those divisions and got that extra headspace. But then we have the Eagles with the number 1 seed in the NFC going 13-3. The Seahawks with the number 2 seed going 12-4. My New Orleans Saints, since Drew Brees came back, we don't really play anybody since Drew Brees comes back, and we will smash all of them going 12-4. Bears will go 11-5, Rams 12-4, and Cowboys also 12-4. These are 6 amazing teams. And in the Packers going 11-5 will still lose out on the playoffs. Along with the 49ers going 10-6, still losing out on the playoffs. And the Vikings 9-7, still losing out on the playoffs. I don't know why this playoff system is the way it is, but that's just how it does. And then there's a massive drop-off whenever we get to the rest of the people who play for the NFC South. They're all in a row together with the Buccaneers and the Falcons both being 5-11 and the Panthers being 4-12. Yeah. So, let us go now to the wild card rounds. Chargers beat Texans. Patriots beat Browns. Unfortunately, the Browns are gone. Rams beat Bears. Saints beat Cowboys. So the Saints will go on from the wild card round here. Here's the thing with this. The Saints are in a dome. That's the first thing. They don't lose in a dome generally. The Rams are much better than the Bears. The Bears just don't really play too many amazing teams. And whenever they do play the Rams, they play the Rams close. It's kind of ridiculous. But the Rams will inevitably win that game. So Patriots always do good whenever it's Super Bowl time. And Chargers will beat the Texans because, again, any other division, Chargers would be number 1 in the AFC. Divisional round. Saints, Seahawks. This is a game that they're coming off the bye week. I do see the Rams beating the Eagles. Even though they're number 5, I think they're still better. And whenever it comes to crunch time, they're generally better. Saints, I do think, will beat the Seahawks, setting up another NFC matchup. But this time, it's in the Dome again. So, yeah. A lot of teams rise to the top this year that didn't really have amazing teams, except for the Seahawks. They had a pretty good team. Okay, let's talk about the Patriots and the Ravens. Ravens, I think they're going to be a surprise team. Of course, they're also going to be surprised whenever the Patriots beat the shit out of them. And Chiefs, who are 5 at Chargers, who are 1. No, wait, Chiefs at 1, who are at Chargers. No. Chiefs, who are 5 at the Chiefs and the Chargers. They face each other in Kansas City. Kansas City wins. So, sets up the exact thing that we had last year. And I think this is going to happen, and I'll tell you why. The NFL knows that this type of shit pissed everybody off last year. Anybody who is fans of football was pissed off with last year's Super Bowl. Either the Saints got screwed by the Rams or the Chiefs got screwed by the Patriots. They're going to give it a redo, and this year they're going to do right. The Chiefs will win, and the Saints will win. Now we get to the Super Bowl, the Chiefs and the Saints. This is a real toss-up. I think Drew's going to get that second ring. I really do. And this will be a perfect time for him to actually just up and leave. But yeah. So the Patriots generally perform whenever it comes down to crunch time. Crunch time they perform, and the Chiefs are much better, really. The Saints, however, have pushed throughout the entire playoffs to get into the championship, beating out the Cowboys, beating out the Seahawks, beating out the Rams, going into the Super Bowl, and winning the Super Bowl. And I think that's how this is going to end. I still don't see the Saints losing the Super Bowl this year. I just don't see it happening. I'm sorry. I know we didn't look good we didn't look great on defense the first week. But the second week, we looked amazing on defense. It's just that Drew Brees got hurt. Let's be honest. If Drew Brees was in that game that entire time and didn't go out midway through the first quarter, that game would have been very tight. We would have probably won, really. But that game would have been tight. But Drew didn't play. Bridgewater came in. Our defense screwed up some in the late third and early fourth quarter, and just overall screwed us over there. And then our offense couldn't score a damn touchdown. We ended up kicking 3 field goals over 3 separate quarters, and we just overall fucked ourselves over. That's really what happened. Let's be honest here. That's what happened. We screwed ourselves over with Teddy Bridgewater. Anyway, hopefully you all did enjoy. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Good